Hi guys, it's Lori. So we're coming up on a full moon again, the full moon of June, called the strawberry moon sometimes. Um, we're, like I talked about before, full moon energy is 4 days before, 4 days after. So have you been feeling a little bit irritated? Maybe some old soul wounds are coming up because that's kind of what this moon energy is about. Irritation, like feeling irritated, feeling antsy, feeling like something's coming, you're not sure what it is, but yet it's not there like fast enough, I guess. Um, a lot of old issues are coming up, especially if you were a victim of sexual assault, um, if you had any kind of abuse in your childhood, physical, emotional, sexual, any of those things, this is a moon that's going to bring that stuff up. It's like uncovering the darkness, putting light on the darkness, especially in those kinds of things. So if you are one of those people, you might think that you've handled all of that and that you've gone through it. Maybe even you had therapy or whatever. You could even be in a position of helping other people. But just because the mind and the emotion is healed, doesn't necessarily mean that the soul wound is. So there could be something coming to the surface that's going to bring that up. If that's the case, just take it, hand it over, especially if you've done a lot of work emotionally. It's an attack of the enemy, because remember, the enemy watches us throughout our lives and knows what's going to hit home. That's why we have to be really careful what we speak and stuff, because our enemy isn't like God. God knows everything. God knows our thoughts. God knows where we are at all times. God is omnipotent, sorry, omnipresent. He can be everywhere at one time. The enemy can't. So the enemy has his little minions watching us and finding out what affects us the most. And so if you have soul wounds, the enemy knows it, right? So just take it, raise your vibration, keep in contact, don't fall for the deception and fall into depression. If you're feeling irritated, raise your vibration, pray, and seek others that are like minded. Again, I'm going to say it again. I know I say it every time, but use discernment with that, because there are many, many people who claim to be like minded. And then when you really listen to them, or better yet, watch their actions, you'll know them by their fruits. If they're lying, cheating, stealing, gossiping, that kind of stuff, they really aren't on the same page. Okay. And I don't mean to get off track here, but the soul wounds will come up, especially in this full moon energy. So just hand it over, okay? And reach out to people. That's why we need, God says, do not forsake the assembly. That's why. It's not about going and worshiping and singing and all that's good and stuff, but it's about being there for each other. We need each other. God designed us not to be alone, especially those of us that aren't married. Do you ever feel sometimes like, okay, I just really want to be with somebody? I mean, I'm not one of those people that is constantly seeking and I need a date, and if I don't have a date, I'm out of my mind. I mean, I actually enjoy being single because with what I do, who I am, what I'm gifted with, it really takes a lot to be in relationship with me, and I don't expect another person to give that much. But man, if that person came in, I think I'm ready for it. But anyway, that's besides the point, too. So a lot of soul wounds will come to the surface. Another thing is the soul wounds. So I said, like, if you were a victim of sexual assault or your childhood was abusive, but there's another kind, I don't know if I want to call it abuse, but kind of, it does a disservice anyway. If in your childhood you were coddled too much, you were protected too much, you weren't exposed even just a little to the negative. One of those kids that got a trophy for everything, even if you lost. You know, that kind of mentality, that stuff will also come up as well, because You know how we have quote unquote safe places now, and I don't want to get it political, but seriously, safe places. We have them on college campuses. People are triggered, blah, blah, blah. Well, that all comes from coddling. And let me tell you, the real world and the spiritual realm, you ain't getting coddled. If you want to become a spiritual person, God is not a coddler, okay? God is a God of justice. He's a God of responsibility and accountability. He's a God of mercy, thank God, and grace, but he is not a coddler. So if you were raised that way, you're also going to face those soul wounds, and they may not look like wounds to you, they look different. But you may come up against where you are on the losing end and you don't know how to deal with it. Or maybe something negative happens. Have you ever met someone that has never really had hardship in their life and then they face what some of us see as small hardship and they can't take it? I feel sorry for those people. I know a lot of people will say, "Oh gosh, they're just like, they can't handle anything because they're from an honor or whatever." Not necessarily. That's how they were trained, and I feel sorry because this world can be a very mean place. So pray for those people. But anyway, if you're one of those people, that stuff could come up too. Um, so again, same thing. Raise your vibration, stay in contact with God, stay in contact with the community of like-minded people, true like-minded people, true believers, and hand it over, okay? Especially in this 4 days before, 4 days after. Another thing is the light will be shined on injustice, especially towards young people or the innocent, those that cannot speak for themselves, like children. Um, People are bullying people, maybe like say somebody's lying in court, or I went through this whole thing where my kids were taken, not taken by DCYF, they were kidnapped actually, they were taken from me, and I had to fight this battle, and it was all unfair, all injustice, and um, there was a time when the truth came out. Unfortunately, it affected my children and created soul wounds, but there are different cases. Maybe you're going through a divorce and there's all lies against you or something, or whatever the case may be. Maybe, we have sex trafficking as a problem in the United States, believe it or not. I know a lot of people don't want to believe it, but we do. That kind of stuff. Don't be surprised if you don't hear stories about missing people coming to light. Um, and maybe even on a smaller scale, um, maybe you're going through a personal situation, whether it be with children or even a divorce or something like that. The light is going to be shined on the darkness, which will bring about change. Okay, so it may sound kind of creepy, but it's actually a good thing. It's really a good thing. It could be chaotic, but um, it for now, but in the end it's going to be a really good thing. Another thing is this energy of this moon, we've kind of been just like waiting between this energetic shift and then, the different phases and stuff, and different things that have been happening. And then we've got CERN, which is a whole other subject, and we've got all this other stuff going on. The evil of the world seems to prevail, right? And then we've been kind of told spiritually, just kind of wait, just kind of wait, just kind of wait. And it's like, oh Lord, how long am I going to wait? Now is the time. It's an energy of go for it. Have you had your passions stirred in you? Have you felt recently like, okay, I really want to do this? And of course, there's the blocks. My car just got taken away again because I got it fixed and boom, broken very next day. I believe that's an attack. I really do. Money stuff totally came to a halt, completely to a halt. Of course, I still have to pay my over $1,000 a month in medical and blah blah blah, but income totally to a halt. I believe that's an attack. Different things, and I'm sure that some of you have been feeling that as well. Now is the time to go for it. Jump over those hurdles. Don't sit back anymore. Don't wait. It's not a time to wait anymore. Go for it. You want something, you want to start a business, you want to start a relationship, you want, I don't know, whatever it is that you want to do, go for it. Take a deep breath, get a running start, and go. Jump those hurdles, because now is the time. You've got good energy, you've got God backing you. As long as you are aligned, make sure you're aligned. That's why it's important to do your accountability list. It's important to keep your journal. It's important to raise your vibration every day. It's important to stay in contact with God. It's important to stay connected to godly people. And if you're aligned and you really, with clear conscience, can say, yes, I believe this is from you, go for it, because now is the time. So if business has been slow and you are in a good business, if you've been kind of waiting for that relationship, for something to shift, for something to change, now's the time. It's going to happen. If you've been waiting for that certain person to call you, if you feel the urge to call them, go for it. If not, get ready. The phone's going to ring. Now is the time. Blocks are going to be removed for a very short time. Of course, now remember, the enemy doesn't want us to be happy. He's going to attack, attack, attack. You just put a shield of protection around yourself through prayer, and you go for it. And if you need anything, I'm here, okay? I pray this full moon brings you blessings beyond your comprehension, beyond your wildest dreams. And if you need me, seriously, if you want a full session, if you want a half session, if you need prayer, if you just want to join this community, subscribe and share, please, because when I get 500, I know that doesn't seem a lot for YouTube, but for me it's a lot right now. I'm going to give away a free session. All right, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.